Hello everyone, my name is Drew. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm drawing a soldier. This first part is just the pencil portion where I do an underdrawing, a quick sketch. As you can see, the head's just a circle and then the limbs are just formless blobs here. But I'm getting the basic shapes down and trying to feel out the overall design that I want to go for. This is time-lapsed, I believe 2 times. And so it's a little quicker than usual, but yeah, so I'm just filling in the areas that are clothing and armor, body armor and whatnot. And so here is the weapon. It's an M4, and I'm just, again, getting the basic form there. There's the magazine. But when I draw, I often will simply think of things as basic shapes. So like circles or ovals or squares. And every part of the body or everything really can be a basic shape. And you begin just filling in the details afterwards, the shapes, the forms, the smaller contours, and the areas that require a little more detail. So right here, I'm putting a little bit of detail into the face, and then just kind of filling in those areas. The majority of the detail will be done with the pen, but right now I just need a rough idea of what I'm going to be drawing because I'm not quite good enough with the pen to be able to simply start drawing and have the end product be what I wanted. You know, I kind of have to have an underdrawing and the shapes and forms down with a pencil. So here I am just kind of not really knowing where to stop when it comes to the pencil underdrawing, because I like to fill in as much details as possible, so that way I only have to sort of outline in pen. But anyway, this is a drawing that I've done other sort of soldier drawings, and here I am with the pen. It's a Pentel brush pen, by the way. Hard tip for more fine lines, and I'm just outlining everything here. But yeah, I've done other drawings of soldiers in various poses and with different equipment. And this is roughly based off of an image I got off the internet, but it kind of, when I use reference, I don't often use it as a one-to-one replica. It's usually just something to get basic forms from, and the overall poses, I'll get gesture from it, but to follow it one-to-one and try to make a perfect replica of it, I think is pointless. You know, you might as well just have a picture of it. And I mean, that's not true, but, you know, because there is something to just taking something and drawing it and recreating it. But I personally, well, for one thing, I'm not good enough to do that. And for another thing, I just don't get a lot of enjoyment from that. So when I use reference, it's for ideas and for basic gesture and form. But then I like to kind of diverge from it and do my own thing, put my own spin on it. So here is the EOTech being drawn in. EOTech is the sort of sight there. Anybody that plays Warzone or was in the military will know what that is. And then drawing the pockets on the shoulders. So this is actually a Marine. I called it a soldier because, you know, why not? It's just kind of a general term, but the Marines don't like to be called soldiers. And that's one thing I remember from the military. Don't call Marines soldiers, they're Marines. But So he's actually a Marine, because you wouldn't have those sideways leaning pockets on an Army uniform. And he's in a kneeling position, kneeling supported, I guess it would be called, if I can remember correctly. Kneeling supported position to fire from, and he's shooting. And you can see I had filled in some magazines on the front for his M4. On the front of his vest there, I'm kind of shading a little bit. I did some really basic shading here, because I didn't want to get too carried away with it. It's often, if you're drawing and you start getting carried away with shading, you can start to erase the image that you drew. It's a really unfortunate side effect of getting really carried away and into the drawing that you're doing. You overwork it, and pretty soon it's just a big, black blob, especially if you're using black ink like I am, and a brush pen, because you can do large portions by just pressing down a little bit harder. You can do large portions of shading so quickly with a brush pen, and it's easy to fall prey to overworking an image. So I had to kind of stop myself. You'll see that I got a little bit carried away, even still, but this is, that's just what happens when you start to get into your drawing. So here I am doing the boot, kind of just a generic boot, and I didn't want to get too detailed on it. I wanted to kind of draw the attention to the upper body and to the weapon, and not take too much time and do the lower body. I tend to kind of focus on certain areas of my drawings and take the viewer's eyes where I want them to. Well, I attempt to. I'm not saying I do that well, but that's what I'm trying to do here, is to do the detail on the top and focus in on what's really happening up top. And then here I put you'll see some shading that I had just put there to show the three-dimensionality of the M4. And there's the dust cover open, and then so he's firing at this time. That's why the dust cover is open on this M4. If you know anything about M4s, when you shoot them and they eject a shell, that dust cover opens up. When you're in the military, they tell you keep that thing closed at all times until you fire. Obviously, it'll open up, and then you just keep firing, and the shells come flying out of there. But I didn't draw in any flying shells or anything. I wanted to give the idea of action, but not actually show the action, if that makes any sense. And then here's the rail system on the side of the M4, and then I did this strange barrel here. It got a little bit pointed, as you can see, but I'll refine this drawing or drawings like this as I go. I'm just going to keep drawing and keep working on the craft. I just enjoy it. This is what I like doing, so I'm just going to keep doing it. And here's where I sort of get into a little bit of the shading, the over shading. And because I just figured, why not? Let's add some darkness to it. And so that's the belt. And shading coming out from the nut plate. That's called a nut plate there that covers the crotch. That's to keep you from getting any shrapnel or anything like that from hitting your groin. And yeah, like I said, I kind of just started to get a little bit overzealous with the shading, and then you'll see I kind of stopped myself when I figured out that, okay, it's probably not necessary to keep going here. You don't want to overwork the project. But I yeah, I added little details as I went, and I had forgotten the entire left arm, so I had to put that in there. And that is the basic drawing. And here I decided to put some shading on the helmet. Again, trying not to get too carried away, but always wanting to add more detail. And maybe at some point I'll do another drawing that is a lot more detailed, has a lot more shading inherently in it. But this one just kind of seemed like the basic form and line work would be sufficient for it. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.